G'day again, John down under tunage here in Melbourne, Australia. Yeah, I'm having a go at Mike MGK Boston's thread idea for show songs with love in the title. And yeah, and it's appropriate today because today here in Melbourne is Tuesday, Feb the 14th, which is Valentine's Day. So that is a definite love is in the air time to do it. And yeah, so I'll have a go at it. I think I've got a couple over, but yeah, I was just grabbing stuff out of my Aussie box, or Aussie New Zealand box, so we'll see how we go. And yeah, they'll all be 7-inch singles. And the first one to show is a favourite of mine, Shantuzzi's, and Love the One You're With. That was a cover, I can't remember who did it originally. Yeah, pardon me, the three, yeah, they only had three because Totty had gone off to do TV shows. And yeah, they were on Mushroom. This is off their second album, The Gild the Lily. I think it's the lead track from memory. But yeah, they sort of were fading out by now. But that's yeah, really good track. Next, another Aussie lady who originally from New Zealand, Jenny Morris, and this is one of her quite popular songs. She Has to Be Loved. Yeah, she was doing quite well in the very late 80s. I think this was like 89, something like that. WA label. Yeah, she was originally in QED, and very early on she was in a band called the Crocodiles. But this is when she was solo, and She Has to Be Loved. Another one, I think she'd come from New Zealand as well. This is Girl Overboard, and The Love We Make. And Lisa Schuau, oh God, I hope I pronounced it right. It's S-C-H-O-U-W. Yeah, unfortunately she died in 2020. Only early 60s, I think she was. But yeah, she had originally, I think she was born in South Africa and then went to New Zealand, then came to Australia. But yeah, quite a well-known tune, this one, for the Aussies, and The Love We Make from Girl Overboard. Next one is a bit of an all-girl group. Good fun, this song. It's called Surfing on a Wave of Love, and they were called Girl Monster, which were Monst with an A, not an E, Monster. And they only had two 7-inch singles. I haven't got the other one. I think it's called Joe Cool, and they're on the Timber Yard label. And yeah, you can get these 7s on colour, but I've just got a black one of that. And I think they had a CD as well, but there's very little out on them, of course. This is about roughly 1990. But yeah, really good tune. Look it up on YouTube if you want. It's fantastic. More Aussie ladies. Kate Sobrano. This is Love Dimension. What was she on? Regular Records. Yeah, she was obviously the one from I'm Talking, and then went off and did her own stuff and did quite well for herself. So that's Kate Sobrano and Love Dimension. And also from I'm Talking was the other female singer, who was Zan. Or Suzanne. How do you pronounce her name? Aberianthe or something like that. But yeah, I'll just call her Zan for this. And this is a 7-inch single for Good Love. And yeah, she was signed to Mushroom. And yeah, her sister Shireen was in the band Big Pig, if anybody remembers them, that sort of industrially wearing overalls, tapping rubbish bin sort of stuff. But yeah, that was Zan's sister. So this is Zan and Good Love. Next is a bit of a sort of, I'd say, lesser known. This is Curious Yellow, and this is called Love Itself. And that was on the Red Eye label. Karen Jansen, she was Steve Kilby's partner at this time. This is the very early 90s, I think. So that's probably, yeah, not many would probably have that, but that's Curious Yellow and Love Itself. A couple from this guy, John Paul Young. Yeah, they didn't have picture sleeves, these ones. These are on the Albert label. And that's the Blue Roo there, which for AC/DC collectors, they're the gems, if you can find them. What's this, 75, and this is called The Love Game from John Paul Young. And another one of his that I had was the huge song, of course. I'm sure everybody knows this song is the, and appropriate for Mike's thread, is Love Is in the Air. So that's yeah, that's been a massive winner for the Vander and Young team, that one. And another one that didn't have a picture sleeve, really good track, probably 1970 I think, Through the Eyes of Love. This is Bobby and Laurie on the Fable label. They were around during the 60s, sort of a singing duo. And I think this is the last thing they put out from memory. They could have had a couple of later ones, but they were sort of on the way out by then. This is roughly 1970. But yeah, great track. Look it up if you want. Through the Eyes of Love from Bobby and Laurie. And then a bit of power pop from the Chosen Few. They were around in the 80s into the very early 90s, and this is Love. This is probably their biggest song. Yeah, once again, another Mushroom one. So that's just called Love, so that's quite appropriate, from the Chosen Few. A couple from this band, Mondo Rock, of course, which was Ross Wilson's band. He was formerly of Daddy Cool. And there's In Another Love. And they're on WEA. And one of their sort of, I'd say this is one of their biggest songs, and Primitive Love Rights. And that's a Reg Mombassa cover there. His quirky artwork from Mental, The Mental As Anything. Yeah, that is, yeah, Reg's covers there, yeah, Primitive Love Rights. And that's on Polydor. So this is sort of, yeah, good 1980s pop music from Australia. And a little bit more indie for this one. Painters and Dockers. Fantastic, scungy sort of band they were. And this is Love on Your Breath from the Painters and Dockers. Yeah, on the white label, record label, if that makes sense. But yeah, they had some fantastic tunes. Of course, Die Yuppie Die was one of their best ones, amongst others. But that's yeah, Painters and Dockers and Love on Your Breath. And a guy that was once in Split Ends, Phil Judd, and he had a group for a little while called Schnell Fenster, and they had a really good track called Love Hate Relationship. And what are they on? EMI there. This is probably 89, 90, something like that. So yeah, really good track that is. And to finish off, I've got some Venetians, and If Somebody Loves You. Yeah, that's this is one of their early ones, I think, 85. Yeah, they had another big song. What was that one? So Much for Love. That was their big track. I've got that on album, but it was only a non-picture sleeve one. But yeah, there's the guys there. So that was, yeah, that would be their the most well-known track. Yeah, it's So Much for Love. Yeah, like the Chosen Few, there's sort of a bit of a power poppy sort of rock sound that they had. So there you go, Mike. There's a thread reply to you. Took a couple of weeks to get onto it, but yeah, I think I've got it done, all sorted. So yeah, for everybody who watch, thanks very much, and I'll see you later.